later on that I'll be having His Excellency, that is the Belgium ambassador to Kenya, Peter Maddens, in studio, and he's here already. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm perfect.
Good to have you here, and welcome to Mombasa.
Thank you.
We just asked, Salim asked you how Nairobi is, and if it's way better than.
Climate-wise, yes.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pronounce myself on any other aspect than the climate.
I get it. I mean,
or the weather, not the climate.
The weather.
You don't talk about climate anymore.
Yes. The weather in Nairobi is better than the weather in Mombasa.
Well, I think so. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people don't think so, but I think so. It's more comfortable for me anyway.
Yeah. Well.
Or for us.
Welcome to the show, Peter Maddens. And of course, you have walked in your dad's footsteps as well.
A little bit.
Because he was a
Fortanyayo, right?
Fortanyayo. Yes, please.
Where?
How is it doing, or rather being in the same position that your dad was in?
Oh, it's interesting, yeah. I mean, it's look. We live in the same house that I lived in when I was a kid. My friends from high school are still around, and I'm in touch with them a lot of times. I went to St. Mary's. I finished high school at St. Mary's in Nairobi. Of course, Kenya is a completely different country than it was 50 years ago.
Yeah.
There's so much that has changed, so much that's grown. But it's fascinating to be able to relive those memories. It also gives me a different perspective on Kenya than most of my colleagues, because I have a little bit more of a historical arc.
Yeah.
I find myself often trying to analyze what's going on in Kenya with a bit more of a historical background than I hear my colleagues. And I mean, I think both are necessary, or both are useful, and we feed off each other that way.
Yeah.
But no, it's been fascinating.
Just a bit into politics. I know we're not going to delve deeper into it.
Not very much.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed. I'm a diplomat.
Yes. You've said Kenya has evolved and a lot has changed, right? How would you describe the change in the political landscape over the years?
Oh, I mean, when we were living here and when I was a kid, it was the last couple of years of Mzee Kenyatta and the first couple of years of President Moi.
Yeah.
It was completely different. It was a one-party state. It was just KANU. There was in the meantime, you've had multi-party democracy. You've had the new constitution. You've had devolution to the counties. It's a completely different state structure, let alone different kinds of politics. Look, one of the things that I have noticed over the years that I've been following Kenya is that, for example, on the on the side, telling the story of elections, every single election in this country has been better than the last one, maybe with the exception of 2007. Mm-hmm. But every single election has been better than the last one. So that shows that the evolution here is actually quite lauded. I mean, it's a really good evolution. Yeah, you're doing. That doesn't sound right. The country's doing so well. Again, with every election being better than the last one, and that I think is something that we need to all recognize.
Yeah. All right. So one of the remarkable milestones under your leadership has been transforming the Belgian ambassador in Nairobi into the world's first carbon neutral mission.
Okay.
And so the Belgian embassy in Nairobi has been recognized globally as the first carbon neutral embassy. Uh-huh. What inspired this transformation, and what does green diplomacy mean to you personally?
Well, it's the first. I'm not going to claim that it's the first carbon neutral embassy worldwide. I can claim that it's the first Belgian embassy worldwide to be carbon neutral, and also that it's the first embassy in Nairobi to be carbon neutral. I don't know enough about all the other embassies all over the world to claim that it is. So I don't want to make that claim. But
that's okay.
But it's let me put that out there. It is the first Belgian embassy worldwide to be carbon neutral. What does it mean? Well, I mean, we have 4 pillars, and we built 4 pillars to make the embassy net zero. And net zero is a little different from carbon neutral because net zero is your operational effects on a day-to-day basis, whereas carbon neutral would take into account the whole infrastructure, which includes all the concrete that you used for the buildings and the cars that you used to operate. And those we're not there yet, but we are net zero. We have 4 pillars. All our electricity is solar. We have solar panels that power the house during the daytime, and also charge batteries which power the house overnight. Yeah. So all the electricity we use is solar generated. We recycle all our water. We have a borehole which we use for consumption in the buildings. That water then gets captured, cleaned, mixed with rainwater that we've captured, and that's what we use to irrigate not only the gardens but also the vertical hydroponic herb and vegetable gardens. Yeah. That's pillar 3. So we have we grow our own vegetables, we grow our own herbs. We consume all the vegetables. We can't do everything we need to do with the vegetables, but we, at least as a household and with all the staff that live on the compound, we consume all the vegetables. And then finally, we have a couple of biodigesters with which we create gas that we cook on, and that we use in the staff quarters to heat the showers.
Oh wow!
So we're essentially off grid in terms of energy and water consumption. Yeah. And that's what makes us net zero. Okay. And then we're hoping at some point to be able to produce more electricity and more gas than we need, so that we can give that away, so that we become net negative, and then start moving towards carbon neutrality. Yeah.
Could you walk us through the process, and rather what practical steps that the embassy took to achieve net zero emissions?
Well, I mean, when my wife and I arrived in August of 2021, we met this amazing Belgian couple who run a camp in Masai Mara called Embo River Camp, which has as its USP, as its unique selling proposition, that it is carbon neutral. And when we visited the camp, Loic, who with his wife Valerie own and run the camp, had showed us around their whole infrastructure. And I kept looking at the solar panels and the water treatment plants and the vegetable gardens and the biogas production facility, and I kept thinking, I can do this in my own embassy. Yeah. Took it to my colleagues in Brussels. Somewhere or another, the then minister got wind of this wild idea by this loudmouth ambassador in Nairobi who thinks that he can change the world. And she said, "Yeah, let's do that." So I had a mandate from the minister herself at the time to do that. We conceptualized it, we designed it, then we put it through a procurement process. Ended up giving the contract to the same company actually that runs the camp in Masai Mara, who worked with 4 Kenyan subcontractors. Everything was done by Kenyan companies. Yeah. The equipment was imported. I mean, Kenya doesn't produce solar panels, for example. They're Chinese, always are. That's just the way the market is. But all the installation was done by Kenyan companies. You had, the main contractor was Questworks. The biogas was put in by a company called African Farm Gas. Yeah. The water systems were built by Davis and Shirtliff. Their subsidiary called BioLift. And we had the vegetable gardens were put up by a company called Vertical Gardens. Yeah. So, like I said, it's all done with Kenyan companies, which makes it all the more, amazing as a project that we were able to source all the conceptualization and all the work here in Kenya itself. Okay.
In your view, also, what role should diplomacy play in driving the global sustainability agenda?
At the end of the day, international agreements are negotiated in a diplomatic setting. Yeah. So however you want to look at it, if 2 countries or more than 2 countries need to agree something, it's in a diplomatic setting that happens. Here in Nairobi, you have the UN Environment Program, and you have Habitat. Nairobi is the center for international multilateral environmentalism, or is it environmental multilateralism? Well, one way or another. And it's what we do. We create the frameworks within which all the countries in which all the countries can work to achieve, the kind of climate and environment goals that we set ourselves and that we should set ourselves. I mean, at some point, it's been. I remember 30 years ago when serving in New York. At some point, UNFPA, the population branch of the UN, put out a report that said the world's population is going to top out at 10 billion. We're now at 8. That same UNFPA, by the way, has put out a report recently that said that the population growth is slowing. Well, I mean, that's logical, right? If UNFPA says there's going to be 10 billion of us and now there's 8 billion of us, of course it's going to have to start slowing at some point, because that's when they said it was topping out. I think when we reach 10 billion, whenever that is, and it won't be that long, I don't think it'll be another generation before we reach 10 billion, but when we reach 10 billion, we will be in a situation where we can figure out how we can all live on this planet together. As long as the population is still growing, you're trying to fix a car while it's still moving. But once we are at 10 billion, that's when we'll be able to figure it out. That being said, in the meantime, the car is broken and it's moving and we have to try and fix it.
Yeah.
We have to do what we can while it's still moving, knowing full well that at some point it'll stop, and then we can really fix it. But in the meantime, the car is still moving, and we have to fix it.
Okay. You grew up in a foreign service family.
Yes.
And you also have served across Latin America, Europe, and Africa, and New York as well. How has that upbringing shaped your perspective as a diplomat?
Oh, my goodness. The easy answer to that question is it's been my life forever. Yeah. So I wouldn't know how it has shaped me, because it just is my life.
Yeah. So you don't know any other thing.
I have no point of comparison. Yeah. For myself, I keep telling my wife, for example, that one of the things that scares me most of retiring, because I'm retiring in less than a year. I retire in July next year. One of the things that scares me most is to go back to Brussels, where we have our apartment, and move into the apartment without the prospect of moving again. Oh. Because all my life, every 3 or 4 years, I've moved.
You've been moving, yeah.
So every time I walk into a house, I know this is for 3 or 4 years. Now I'll be going back to the apartment in Brussels, and I won't move again.
How does that make you feel?
Well, like I said, that scares me. I don't know how it makes me. I don't know yet how it makes me feel. I'll see when we get there. But right now, it's a very it's a very weird thought. Yeah.
It's scary.
It is a little, yeah.
And his wife is here in studio, and I feel like getting you on because I know you.
She told me to say don't. Don't
Really?
Put me on the radio.
Okay, fine. I will not bring you on the mic. As you're saying that scares you, pretty much you've thought about it and you've put in place. You've planned something. I
have. I hope to be active. Yeah, I hope to remain active. I hope. I think I have something to offer to somebody. The kind of life that I've led, the Rolodex I have, the contacts, the network, I think can serve somebody. And feel free, reach out through SwahiliPod. They'll find me. If anybody's listening who can use a former ambassador,
Yes, they will find you.
Yes.
For somebody, and retirement, so I'm going to get into retirement because you mentioned retirement. And most times they say our job is our identity, right? And you say that's all you've ever known. Now that you're getting out of it in a year's time, what else?
Yeah, that's exactly what the scary part. What else? But it's good scary, right? Because you want. I mean, like I said before, moving back into our apartment in Brussels and not having the prospect of moving is a scary thing. That's true. But on the other hand, my life has been one of our life, all my life and half my wife's life has been one of change every so often. Yeah. So you know what? Let's take it just like it's been forever. This is just another change.
Yeah.
And we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Okay. Ambassador, my question will be, you are going to retire in years' time.
Less than
a year, that is. It's July next year. for that young person who is listening to you, that at a certain age, he or she will also head there. What plans does someone have to put in place to make sure the positiveness, the projects that you have for a country, for the world, will look like what? What's the plans that you'll put on to make sure that your life goes on?
Well, again, that's actually, I mean, my life experience has been particular in that I'm a civil servant.
Yes.
So I was appointed as a civil servant when I was 27. And I've been in that forever. So and basically in at least in Europe and certainly in Belgium, the state takes care of its civil servants.
Oh.
So I have I'll be getting a pension.
Yeah.
Which is largely based on my last income. Rather than something that I've saved for my whole life. I've saved for it, but it's been done automatically by the state for me. So I my experience is not something that's actually very relevant for a young Kenyan.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, if you wake up to the fact that you're going to retire when you're 55. Sorry, if you wake up to the fact that you're going to retire at 65 and you're already 55 years old, forget it. You're never going to make it.
Okay.
Right? You have to start thinking about retiring when you start working.
Yeah.
The day you start working, that's the day you take, 5, 10, 15, 20% of your salary, put it aside for when you retire.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you don't do that, you
are done.
Well, yeah, you're going to have to figure it out something else, and that's not always easy to do when you get older. So you really do have to start from day one.
Okay. You also chaired critical negotiations at the United Nations, and a little bit. Looking back, what lessons did those experiences teach you about international cooperation?
The one thing we do badly,
and
that's especially in the last, 10 years maybe, we've stopped listening to each other. We have to learn to listen better. We in the North have to learn to listen to you in the Global South better.
Yeah.
We need to accept that. No, we don't have to accept anything. It's a simple fact that this is your country, and that we don't need to tell you what you have to want, or do or think. I like to say that we should stop telling you what you have to want, because that's basically what we keep doing. If you don't want elections like we run them, you're not doing it right. If you don't want human rights like we define them, you're not doing it right. If you don't want economic development like we did it, you're not doing it right. That's not the right way to do this. We have to stop telling you what you have to want. Now, we have experience setting up systems in our own countries, human rights, liberal democracy, market economies, etc. We have experience. We've set it up. We've set it up over a number of generations, with lots of challenges. So maybe we have an experience that we can share, but it's up to you to come and ask us to share it. It's not up to us to come and ram it down your throats. And that I think is what I learned most from the multilateral experience, is that everybody has their own experience, and everybody has their own looks at a certain situation with that experience as a backdrop.
Yeah.
We need to understand that backdrop. We need to understand that everybody needs to understand each other's background, so that we can understand where you're coming from in a negotiation or in a conversation.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have to stop telling you what you have to want.
All right. And what do you think stands out most for you about your posting in Kenya and also in the East African region?
Oh, there's so many things.
Yeah.
I think people's smiles. Really? There you go. There it is.
You had me on that one.
See what I mean?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had me on that one. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. No, so I mean, what else is there? You know, what else is
Just
there?
smile.
Just a smile. And and it's the basis of everything, right?
Well,
it's the basis of the way you treat each other. It's the basis of the way you live with each other. It's the basis of your culture, of your of you know. It's how your societies work. There's a happiness, which at some times, we kind of think we don't understand. How can they be happy living in these kind of circumstances? But that's not the point. The point is you are, and you make your lives. And again, it's the smile.
It's the smile. I'll take that home today. Yeah. It's a smile. The next time I see somebody else, I'll tell them, she's smiling. What personal values or principles have guided you throughout your journey as an ambassador?
Let me tell you a story. It was 2006. I was we were posted in Dar es Salaam. I was the ambassador in Tanzania, and there was an election in Congo. Now there's a huge refugee population in Western Tanzania. Yeah. Lots of Burundians, and in those days there were lots of Congolese as well. And there was an election in Congo, and the Congolese refugees started getting confidence in their system. And they all wanted to start going back. Now there were about 250,000 refugees sitting in camps in north of Kigoma, along Lake Tanganyika. And my government, perchance, had decided after the election to provide the Congolese government with literally a shipload of transport equipment, jeeps, ambulances, armored personnel carriers, and a set of pontoons, floating bridges. So the refugees are starting to push back, are starting to push to go back to Congo, and UNHCR at that point can transport about 500 refugees a week. 500 refugees a week, when you're talking about a population of 250,000, that's a long. That could take a while. The reason they could only transport 500 refugees a week was because Lake Tanganyika had dropped to such a level because of a drought that the ship that UNHCR was using to transport the refugees back and forth could not dock at the harbor in Kigoma. The only way to get the refugees on that boat was to let them crawl over 3 other ships that were docked next to each other in Lake Tanganyika. The third ship was only there 1 day a week because it was a ship that the TRC, the Tanzania Railway Corporation, would use to ferry around the lake. Yeah. So when these pontoons, because the Congolese army had decided that this transport equipment from the Belgian government was going to be allocated to units in the east of the country, so they came to Dar es Salaam harbor, across the country, across Lake Kigoma, into Goma on the other side, or into the eastern Congo on the other side of the lake, because Goma's up higher. There's pontoons laying in the harbor of Kigoma waiting to be transported to Congo. And the lady who runs the transport operation at UNHCR says to me, can I use those pontoons? Because if I can use those pontoons, I don't need those 3 ships anymore. And I can do four sailings a week instead of only 1, which reduces, which increases the capacity to transport. And we went, yeah, sure, fine, go ahead and do it. So they invite me to go and inaugurate the first sailing. To cut the ribbon, us ambassadors, we do 2 things really, really well: drink champagne and cut ribbons. Right? We're very, very good at that. Well, let me just go ahead and
cut.
Yeah.
And confirm the stereotype. Yes, we're very good at that. Okay. Anyway, so they asked me to go cut the ribbon. So we went up to Kigoma, spent the evening with the people from UNHCR, went to look at the ship. Yeah. Next morning, we go out to meet the convoy of refugees coming from the north. And it's, 500 refugees, that's like 20 buses and another 20 or 30 trucks, because they all have a big bag of stuff that they're moving. So it's a big convoy. And there's a T-junction where they usually stop, so that the refugees can get off the bus and stretch their legs and have a sanitary break, et cetera, et cetera. So that's where we wait for them. Convoy arrives, stops, And me and a colleague of mine are walking down the line of buses. We were the only Mzungus there, so we were obvious who we were. And there's this old guy who's still in the bus. He didn't get off. I feel somebody tapping me on my head, so I look up, and there's this old guy sitting up there. And he looks down at me, and he says in a mixture of Swahili and French and English, "Are you the ambassador?" I said, "Yes." And he says, "You know what? They told us that this is possible because of you. So I want to thank you because I've been in the camp for 10 years and I finally get to go home." That's when I thought, this is why I do this job. I've changed one life.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
One life.
Hey, dead air. Come on.
Yeah. No, we're thinking. Yeah.
You see, for us to call it a change, it has to be huge. Now, one life.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all big. That's all that you can aspire to as an individual. I mean, maybe you can do some more, maybe, if you're lucky. But if you've changed one life, isn't that?
It is.
It is.
It is. Now let's look at Pun Innovation Week because you've attended the fourth one. Yeah, it's the fourth Pun Innovation Week, and we're in the 6th edition. Today you're going to be speaking there.
I am.
What message do you hope to share with innovators and change makers during your keynote speech today?
When my grandparents went through 2 world wars, they had to rebuild Belgium twice by the time they were 50. Okay, so one of my grandfathers was born in 1895, the other one was born in 1900. So think about it. The one who was born in 1900, by the time he was 18, World War I was done, and by the time he was 39 or 40, World War II started. Okay.
Yeah.
Compare that to your own age, all right? So they rebuilt the country. Then they also built systems and institutions and organizations that would make war unthinkable. And they also built systems that would spread our wealth, Social Security, unemployment insurance, infrastructure, education, etc. My parents' generation took on those institutions and mechanisms and scaled them up to a global level. And then us baby boomers came along, and all we thought about was ourselves. We took those systems and looked at them with a very selfish perspective. The UN is useless. The EU is a waste of time. No, I'm not going to work 2 more years so that the whole pension system stays viable. No, I'm not going to spend 10% more on a doctor so that the social security system remains dependable. No. I have my rights and I'm sticking to them and I'm not giving anything away. That was our way of looking at it. That's us baby boomers. And then part of it started here in Kenya. Actually, here in Kenya, you see these millennials and the Gen Zs, and they're taking up the mantle. They're saying, "We want to manage this. We want to start running this place because it's time. It's our turn." And that gives me so much hope that the kids actually want to do it. They're looking to take up the responsibility. Like I said, that's a good thing. It gives me a lot of hope. And from what I've seen over the last 4 years at Pawnee Innovation Week, and from what I've seen at Swahili Pot Hub, mentors, change project. I mean, talk about change, huh?
Yeah.
Talk about affecting lives.
Yes.
I'm kind of thinking, okay, we're good. We're in good hands.
Yeah.
We'll survive, thanks to the millennials and Gen Zs and the young generation.
Yeah.
And all we need to do now is step back and give you space.
I like that. And lastly, why do you think innovation is crucial in addressing today's challenges, from climate change to youth unemployment?
When we installed our systems in the Net Zero Embassy in Nairobi, one of the things that we had installed was a set of lithium-ion batteries, and we were told we can't recycle these, but they have 5,000 cycles on them. So that means you can go from 100 to 0 5,000 times on those batteries. Now, if you have one cycle per day on each battery, that's 15 years that you can run those, that you can use those batteries. So I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to use them because I'm confident that we as a human species will be able to figure out how to recycle these in the next 15 years. That's it. you confidence in human ingenuity.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, well then,
that's it.
Then we're all done. And that's fine too.
Yeah.
Because it's all of us together.
Yes.
But no, confidence in human ingenuity. That's
it's a lot of lessons to take home today.
Maybe a little serious for 8 o'clock.
No. It's actually a lot of lessons to take home today. I just wanted to say that you are a good storyteller.
After so many years of telling stories, me, I tell stories.
You tell stories for a living.
Me, I, right? Me, I.
Yeah, I like it. You know what? Thank you so much.
And cut, the part of cutting.
Like he cuts ribbons.
That's they do it in a good way.
Yeah. We know how to cut ribbons and drink champagne.
Yeah. A lot
Only
of
champagne,
today.
by the way. Red wine and stuff we don't drink so well, but champagne we really know how to drink.
Yeah. Yes, we do. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. We've been speaking to His Excellency, that is Peter Maddens. He's a Belgian ambassador to Kenya, and he will be talking today at Pony Innovation Week, and that is a reason. You know what? I've said it. You need to get yourself a ticket. Go to ponyinnovationweek.com, grab yourself a ticket, because there will be a lot of conversation happening today and a lot that you can learn from. Ambassador, thank you for making time today.
Thank you.